Please welcome the athletes to the field of play for the compound men's bronze medal match.
An important bronze medal up for grabs here in Shanghai. The second stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup. It's time to go down to the shooting line to meet the contenders.
On target number 1, representing Estonia,
1号靶来自爱沙尼亚
Robin Jaatma. On target number 2, representing the Republic of Korea,
2号靶来自韩国
Yang Jaewon. The line judge for this matchup is
起射线裁判
Rubeshka.
Big match up here. Robin Jaatma,
One bronze medal.
22-year-old from Estonia as world number 10, goes up against the 26-year-old Yang Jaewon from Korea, world number 28. And in different ways, these two both need quite a bit of a recovery. I think Jaatma a little bit surprised by the form of the young Indian archer he faced in the semi-final and lost to, whereas Yang Jaewon, his form was the big thing that was an issue in his semi-final.
Yeah, I think if they were to continue shooting like they shot their semifinals, I would probably give this to Jaatma, just because he seemed more comfortable finding the middle. Then again, if Yang Jaewon finds the middle eventually and gets there, I think he might be a bit tougher towards the end of the match. So it's gonna be tight.
10,
10
10,
10
10, perfect score.
10 10满环
Oh, now. Was that a redraw because of some distraction in the crowd?
It kind of looked like somebody was walking onto the field or something.
Yeah, it felt like that. Well, it sounds to me like we might have an interesting setup here.
10, 30 to 29.
Now, I've been told that one of the camera operators actually stepped out onto the field of play, and that is why Jaatma had to redraw. Now, what's the case there? That doesn't sound very fair.
It doesn't, but then he could have not shot his arrow and told the judge, like, hey, I need a reset for the clock. As soon as you shoot your arrow, you can never reshoot an arrow. So if you shoot an arrow, then that's it. The arrow counts.
Well, I think we just saw, let's say, Rio Wild looking at the funny side of it, but I mean, that is potentially a very dangerous situation. These things are flying through the air and they're deadly.
Yeah, so something that shouldn't have happened, but I think it's also a teaching moment here.
Everything's a learning opportunity for you, Chef. I don't think Robin Jaatma sees it that way, though. I think he feels that he's been hard done by there, and I tend to agree with him.
Me too, but again, seeing the positive side of this is also a learning opportunity for Robin. He'll have to deal with this. There's no point in dwelling on what happened. He'll need to just say, okay, that happened, reset, go back to 0, and shoot the best I can.
Well, after an intriguing turn of affairs in the first end, Jaatma manages to escape with a 29 when he had to redraw his arrow, his final arrow, when a camera operator moved out onto the field of play when he was at full draw.
10, 10.
10
I think he probably gained some respect from the audience though for you know, regaining himself and shooting some tens here.
Well, just like that, they are level again. So in some respects, we start the match again from this point.
10, 10, 10. Perfect score.
A perfect score for Jaatma.
Well, 1 point to divide in end number 1, 1 point to divide in end number 2.
We're calling it a 1 point difference in the venue. We've got it marked down as a 9 measure. What was your feeling on that last arrow?
I feel like it hit, but obviously I'm not a judge, but I feel like it hit the line.
The time of the day, the orientation of the sun, anything can come into an arrow value indeed. So we'll just have to wait for our target judge to confirm arrow number 3 on Yang Jaewon's side of the field.
Well, quite right. The stadium announcer saying that, you know, talking about the effects of the light when the sun's high in the sky and down low, it has a different, gives you a different view. So that's why we rely on target judges to measure arrows.
Well, 2 ends are in the books, 59 to 59. And boy, oh boy, do we have
That was the
ourselves
first arrow after Robin Jaatma got a bit of a scare with someone walking out onto the field of play when he was at full draw in the first end.
But a very impressive recovery from him. I mean, shooting a 30 after somebody walking in front of you while being full drawn. It's a bit of a shocker, I can tell you, from experience, unfortunately.
I can only imagine.
10.
Well, just for purposes of being thorough, the arrow was marked up for Yang Jaewon. So they both started
10.
with a 10 in this.
Ooh, a little bit more wind on the bow here.
10, 10, 10, 10.
Impressive.
Score.
30环满环
10, 10, 10, and that is
Another perfect, but only just, and they're level on 89 apiece. Where was this Yang in his semi-final?
Yeah, I don't know where this suddenly came from, but well, it's pretty good timing.
on both sides of the field of play in the very first matchup in head-to-head competition.
So Robin Jaatma shot his last arrow on the line of the 10, which, you know, maximum score. But he still walked off the line, shaking his head, thinking that was not a good shot. So I think he's a bit of a perfectionist, maybe.
It seems to be a bit of a common trait amongst you archers, seeking perfection.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
But here we look at the impressive 3 X's by
Well,
the
looking
looks of
down
things
range
from
once again, Yang will shoot first on target
Yang.
when we continue.
Basically, we're seeing 2 sides of a coin from Yang, aren't we? The version of him in the semi-finals is very different to the one we're seeing right here. And he's right in contention. I think I'm still sensing that Jaatma is he's still slightly distracted by what happened in the first end.
Yeah, me too. I think he the fact that he was shaking his head is part perfectionist and part that he still cannot believe what just happened, and he feels like he's done wrong, maybe. But I mean, he's coping very well with it. I said, well, he shoots a 9.
Second one of the match for him. opportunity here for Yang, that is for sure.
Sure.
10-10-10, perfect score.
30环满环。
And this one is very much now in the hands of the Korean. Little added pressure on Robin Jaatma here.
10.
Shoots his second 29 of the match. The other two ends have been perfect.
So we're in this familiar situation where Robin is chasing Yang by 1 point, which means that he'll start the next end. But he's only chasing by 1 point, so if he manages to shoot, let's say a 30, or at least a very high score, he might be able to put some pressure on Yang, and you know, we might see a shoot-off. I'm still hoping for a shoot-off. I don't know about you, but...
You love a shoot-off? We all love a shoot-off. But it is very much in Yang's hands here. If he shoots 3 10s...
Yeah, there's nothing Robin can do, yeah.
So what's it going to be like? The pressure of shooting second. You know, if Jaatma puts down a 9, does that take the pressure off? I mean,
it kind of does in some way, especially in compound. And for me, I always liked to shoot second because I knew exactly what I needed to shoot to, you know, clinch the set or clinch the match.
So it comes down to these final 3 arrows from each archer. Jaatma trailing by a single point in the compound men's bronze individual match here in Shanghai.
There you go. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Well, the momentum could shift here. If Jaatma can keep the pressure on now, can he force more 9s out of Yang? Not on that occasion. So all square going into the final arrow from each archer. Trying to stay focused, trying to stay controlled. Just hits the line for another perfect. So now all of the pressure is on Yang Jaewon. Needs a 10 to force a shoot-off. Oh, a completely different archer from the Yang we saw in the semi-finals. He took that 10 like it was absolutely nothing, and the pair of them dropping just 2 points each throughout the match. Is this even more annoying for Robin Jaatma? Because he was potentially could have scored a 10 with that arrow that he had to redraw.
I don't know him well enough to know what he's thinking right now, but just judging by his body language and his facial expressions, he is still slightly annoyed by what happened, and I think he is kind of blaming the camera op for him having to shoot the shoot-off right now.
He's a little miffed, I think is the best way of putting it, and that's certainly how he looks. And if I was the camera operator, I'd be trying to find a replacement right now and getting away from this venue as quickly as possible, because that looks like a fairly angry Robin Jaatma. He has managed to contain himself enough to get into a shoot-off, and if you like, perhaps he'll be the neutral's favourite for taking this shoot-off here.
附加赛开始之前，我们需要更换新的环靶。1号靶位来自爱沙尼亚的罗宾，在职业生涯中参加过10次附加赛，其中7次取得胜利。2号靶来自韩国的林在元，职业生涯参加过2次附加赛。
So targets being replaced for the shoot-off. 1 arrow to decide who's going to take bronze here in Shanghai.
The time is now. The place is here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's show some appreciation on the field of play for Estonia's Robin Jaatma. And let's give a strong round of applause for his opponent, For the Republic of Korea, Yang Jaewon.
Chef, when you're down there on the shooting line with all the lights and all the cameras on you, and then the stadium announcer tries to G up the crowd to get behind you for a shoot-off, are you blocking it out?
You can try to block it out. In my case, that never worked because my part of being on the spectrum made that I cannot really block that stuff out. But you can basically just acknowledge that it's happening and still try to be task-driven.
Easy to say, but look at that. An X, pretty good. There's still room to the middle, but not very much.
9.
Just drifting out to the right and for the 9. And Yang Jaewon from Korea, at the first time of asking, making the final 4, has converted it into a bronze medal winning performance here in Shanghai, and we will see him on the podium a little bit later on. Good ranking points for Robin Jaatma, but the podium place goes to the Korean.